All right, Larry Krueger here from the Pig and a Pickle Krug Show with another 49er video. As today we talk a little bit about the hottest running back in the NFL, Jordan Mason of your 49ers. Now first, Pig and a Pickle, the two locations are Emeryville and Corte Madera. They're open 7 days a week from 11 a.m. till 8 p.m. or until they run out. Pig and a Pickle, the best barbecue in all of Northern California. I love the brisket, but I also love the pulled pork, the house-made sausages. It's all fantastic. Go say hi to Damon. Go say hi to Mary. Get some brisket chili, and tell them that Larry Krueger sent you. And this video also brought to you by our brand new sponsor, Mancini Sleep World, is a proud sponsor of the Krug Show. They offer a 120-night guarantee with a range of brands and price points. I'm loving my Mancini's bed. With Mancini's, you get free next-day delivery. Click the link below or go to sleepworld.com and find a bed that works for you. Whether shopping online or visiting in store, use the code KRUG10, K-R-U-E-G 10, and you'll get 10% off. That's KRUG10, K-R-U-E-G 10, and you'll get 10% off in store or online at sleepworld.com. All right. 49ers have had an interesting start, I would say, to this 2024 campaign. They're 2-2. They lost a game against the Rams they shouldn't have lost. Other than that, they lost to a Vikings team that looks like world beaters right now, that's playing incredible football, where Sam Darnold is literally in the MVP race. And Minnesota is probably the surprise team in football. So they lost to Minnesota, they lost to the Rams. They took apart the Jets in week 1, then they just took apart the Patriots in week 4, and they're awaiting their week 5 battle with the Cardinals. Let's talk about J.P. Mason, because the big story of the year so far with the Niners has been the injuries. They had to go into a game with no Kittle, no Debo, and no CMC. They haven't had CMC all year, and they may not have him all year. He's got Achilles tendonitis. Sounds like it's pretty bad. It's in both legs. So I don't know what they can even expect to get out of Christian McCaffrey the rest of the way. Now, normally, you take away a back like Christian McCaffrey, and that team's cooked. How many teams have another back besides maybe the best back in football? And yet the 49ers have found Jordan Mason, and it's almost like the fans discovered him a year ago, and the Niners coaches discovered him this year. And obviously that's not the case, because the Niners coaches knew what they had a year ago and they know the talent better than the fans. But literally last year, the fans were clamoring for Jordan Mason, only to get the Kyle Shanahan stiff arm. No, you're not getting Jordan Mason. You're getting more CMC. And if you don't like that, you're getting a little Elijah Mitchell. And hell, if you're ever getting Jordan Mason. But times change and guys get hurt. And that's what happened here, as CMC is hurt and Elijah Mitchell's done for the year. And suddenly, Jordan Mason is a necessity. Suddenly, they can't banish him to the bench. Suddenly, they've got to actually put him on the field. And I know he fumbles a little bit, and he fumbled a couple times in the last game. And that's a major bugaboo. And if you ask me, why has Jordan Mason, with all of this talent, been third on the depth chart? That's it right there. That is it right there. It's the fumbling. Elijah Mitchell never fumbles, and Jordan Mason fumbles. And that's why Elijah Mitchell was in front of him on the depth chart. Because the last thing you can have in the NFL is your running back fumbling. Can't live with it. Can't have it. You cannot live with a running back that fumbles. So why is Mason third on the depth chart? Because he fumbled. Now, he'll say it's a lack of maturity. He kind of said him and Bobby T weren't on the same page. But Bobby T doesn't like fumbles either. And that's probably one of the reasons he wasn't on the right page with Bobby T, is that he fumbled the ball. But right now, Jordan Mason leads the NFL in carries. He's on pace to lead the 49ers in carries and set the franchise record by like 75 carries. He's on pace for an 1,800-yard rushing season. He's third in the NFL in rush yards over expectation. He's first in the NFL in yards after contact. So this guy doesn't go down. I mean, you hit him. He's got great. I asked Patrick Taylor the other day, I said, what stands out about J.P. Mason when you watch him. He's got extraordinary contact balance. In other words, if you hit him, he doesn't go down. If you fall into his legs, he doesn't go to the ground. And then the combination of he's got elite contact balance. He's about 230 pounds. And he spent $3,000 in the offseason on a jugs gun. That was one of the best $3,000 that he's ever spent. Why? His catch radius is 3 times the size of his catch radius from a year ago. And his hands are now, which were kind of a weakness before, are now an overwhelming strength. Brock Purdy threw him a pass in this last game against the Patriots that didn't hit him right here. He had to really go and get it. And he went and got it. And he caught it clean. And he kept running. And it's plays like that where you're like, wow, Jordan Mason is a much better player than he was a year ago. Can he run it from scrimmage? Absolutely. Can he bounce it outside? Yeah. Can he run between the tackles? Yeah, he's good at that too. But he can also catch the ball. He can really catch the ball. All right, let's hear Brian Baldinger. He did a little breakdown this week on Mason and Dominic Pooney. Pooney had a phenomenal week opening holes for Mason. Here is Baldy talking Mason and Pooney on X, and then we'll have a few more thoughts here in a second.
This Jordan Mason has been unbelievable. The 49ers in an offset eye, that's juice right there in the squat. But let's watch Dominic Pooney, the rookie right guard right here. Take care of the nose tackle here. Now, here comes linebacker flying, right? Watch the angle that he takes to get the linebacker by Mason as he goes for 10 yards, all right? And with Pooney, you always have a chance. You watch him here on the nose. Brendel's going to go up to linebacker, but you got to stalemate the nose. And if you can walk him off the ball just a little bit, and look at this fit right here. Bam, like a wall, like a 49er wall. Ayuk's a great blocker. There goes Mason. I mean, he's averaging 5 yards a carry. All right. He's on pace for 1,800 yards. The guys up front are doing the job, but he's a great back. But that Pooney's been unbelievable at right guard. He actually came out of the game for one play. I don't know what happened. Somebody just dinged him a little bit, came right back in the next play, but Mason's been unreal.
Yeah, and there's no question about it. I mean, I think Baldy said it best there. Mason has been unreal, and he's rolling down Highway 77 with Dom Pooney blocking in front of him. But, you look at Jordan Mason and, it's the contact balance, it's the yards after contact, it's the run strength, it's the body lean. If he can just hold on to the football, he is going to be an incredible back. He's first in the NFL in runs of 10-plus yards. He's got 13 of them. He's second in the NFL in runs where he got to at least 15 miles per hour with 23 of them. But the Niners have, it's a great problem to have, and it's also a problem. Their problem is twofold. One, there's the what do you do when McCaffrey comes back? That's not really a problem because we don't even know if McCaffrey's going to come back at all. To me, I know, and there's been a lot of people debating now, well, what happens when McCaffrey comes back? What happens to Mason's touches? McCaffrey, if he does come back, is not going to shoulder the entire load at any point this year. At no point this year are they going to say, it's McCaffrey left, McCaffrey right, McCaffrey like it was a year ago. That's not going to happen. He's that kind of usage is last year's usage. It won't be this year's usage. So that's not really the issue. Is, what do you do with Mason when McCaffrey's all right? Well, I mean, that's a pleasant problem to have. But one, I don't think it's a problem that the Niners are going to have this year because I don't think McCaffrey's coming back. But then also, even if he does come back, because they're going to try to ramp him up, realistically, he can't take a full workload with two, Achilles tendonitis in both Achilles. So, I mean, you're going to have to manage McCaffrey probably the rest of the time he's a 49er, to be honest. But the bigger question, and that to me, that's a non-issue. The big issue is Jordan Mason is on pace to lead the NFL. He leads the NFL in carries. He's on pace to lead the Niners in by carries by a ton. The 75 more carries than the franchise record, which was like Frank Gore. So the question is, this guy can't do this all year by himself. He's got to have help. And that's where we go into, okay, without CMC, where is Jordan Mason getting help? Well, you saw Kyle Shanahan, who got a carry early in the game against the Patriots? Debo. So that's who he trusts, Debo. Guess who hasn't had a single carry? Patrick Taylor. Guess who he doesn't trust? Patrick Taylor. So he doesn't trust Patrick Taylor. Garendo is proven raw, incredibly raw. Doesn't have running back instincts. Doesn't have running back feel. He's big, he's strong, he's fast, and that's it. Is he a running back? Yeah, I mean, in name only. He doesn't have running back instincts. He doesn't have pick and slide. He doesn't read the hole. Heck, he just, on a kickoff return, he just sprinted upfield, ran into the back of Eric Saubert, and the ball popped loose. We're not even talking about a defender. This guy ran up the butt of his blocker and knocked the ball out by running into his own blocker. I mean, to say that Garendo has no running back feel or instincts is just putting it mildly. He's so far from being a running back, it's not funny. Now, could they get him in open spaces? Sure, but that's not a running back. A running back operates in small spaces. So they can spot him here and there. They might be able to get a big run out of him, maybe a big kick return, maybe a ball that you throw him in the flat, he makes a guy miss, goes for a big run. But as far as being like, hey, Mason's down, we're going with Garendo this week, it's not going to happen this year. It's absolutely not going to happen. And if it does happen, we're all going to get a real lesson on how raw this kid really is. So Shanahan doesn't have CMC, doesn't seem to trust Patrick Taylor, shouldn't trust Isaac Garendo. What's left? Who's left? You got Keyshawn Vaughn on the practice squad. He's solid, if unspectacular. He's not going to run away from you. He's a 215-pound back who can break some tackles. He's got some instincts. He's got way better instincts than Garendo. But does he have, can he be your every down back? I don't think so. In fact, I'll go as far as to say this. I think the 49ers need to go out and find themselves another back. Not that Mason can't do the job, because he can't. But they need another complement to Mason. And they don't seem like they trust Taylor. And Garendo seems so raw. And CMC's hurt. And Juice is a fullback. So who's it going to be? Who's it going to be? I mean, there are running backs that they can trade for. There's running backs on other teams' practice squads that they could pluck. Frank Gore Jr.'s on Buffalo's practice squad. They could pluck him. There's an assortment of backs that are available, on the street. You want a Leonard Fournette or somebody like that. The Niners need to add another back because Taylor, Keyshawn Vaughn, and Garendo and CMC with his injury status, probably not enough. And Mason's been used a ton. Heck, Mason showed up this summer thinking that he was going to be a special teamer, and now he's on pace to lead the NFL in carries for the year and to just absolutely destroy the Niners franchise record for carries in a single season. And he's probably not up to that. He's probably not up to that. That's probably a tall ask. So on one hand, the Niners are in a great spot. They don't have CMC, and Mason's doing his thing, and he's establishing himself. On the other hand, it's a long year. They're going to need CMC back, and he's got tendonitis in his both Achilles. Taylor probably can't do the job. Garendo, I don't think, can do the job. And Vaughn is the guy who could probably do the job the best, but he's on the practice squad. I don't think you want to, if you try to move Garendo to the practice squad, he probably gets picked off. But he's not really helping you that much from scrimmage. I mean, the level of rawness that he has demonstrated already is just off the charts. So we shall see. But incredible start for J.P. Mason. He's a terrific back. He's got balance and vision and explosive ability, and he's got great hands now out of the backfield because he bought that Jugs gun. He looks really, really good, but they're going to need somebody else. They're going to need another guy, and it's probably going to have to come from outside the organization. So the trade deadline's November the 5th. We'll see if between now and about a month from now, if the Niners can add another back. But they've got a power back in Mason. And if they could add, one more running back to this stable, they might be able to get through this year without Christian McCaffrey playing a down and still be a playoff team and a Super Bowl contender. All right, hope you enjoyed the video. Thanks to Pig and a Pickle for being the title sponsor of The Krug Show. Thanks to Mancini's for sponsoring this video. And thanks to all of you guys for supporting The Krug Show on YouTube.